We pretty much know that every major tech platform is running a digital strip club. Instagram being the biggest one right now, OnlyFans being the most overt one, and men are the customers, and you could say loneliness is the product, because loneliness is what they're selling every single man here. That's what's keeping the cash reserves really high. So basically, we'll start winding this up from the business model. Let's break that down, and we'll go all the way down through the list, and this is going to be an all-encompassing topic about how men are becoming tricks in the digital pimping era. And what's going on? Welcome. So we'll start with the loneliness economy, right? Essentially, the tech companies are playing behavioral casinos. That's what they've become. That's the games that they're playing. So, and they're making a ton of money from the loneliness economy, right? So dating apps today are they range from $8 billion globally. And then Match Group, well, at least they say they're worth $8 billion, but there's this group called Match Group. They own Bumble. They own Tinder. They own basically all these companies. Their market cap is currently somewhere around the range of $40 billion. Okay. And their revenue grew by 300% during our lockdowns when everybody was stuck at home, when we couldn't work, when we couldn't do anything. People were feeling the loneliness epidemic of being stuck at home, sneaking about, getting laid, whatever. That caused this boom for them. They gained 300% in revenue. Actually, that boon was like great for all internet companies, including YouTube. YouTube was doing well, everything. Everybody on the internet was getting paid. Everybody was using every single app imaginable simply because you were stuck at home. So this was government mandated and tech companies grew dramatically, right? So the pandemic created a captive audience because we couldn't do anything. There was no real world alternatives because, hey, lockdowns. So they started having a monopoly control on dating, if you will. And you've noticed that we haven't really come back from the pandemic and the world today as it pertains to dating. Something changed permanently in the psyche of the world, especially in America. We'll keep this American, but Western Europe as well. Something changed in the psyche of people post-pandemic in the way they approach one another. It almost, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, soured the mood on dating. And if anything, accelerated the decline. Okay, so this company, we know they own Tinder, they'll own Hinge, OkCupid, all this shit. They basically buy out every single competitor that threatens them, right? They employ the same algorithm. It's the same exact one, their proprietary algorithm, right, across all these platforms. And it's an illusion of choice that you have. You think like, I do better on Bumble. I do better on Hinge. Nah, bro, Tinder's where it's the same shit. It's the same algorithm, the same owner with the very same revenue model that's built on failure. This is why so many men are getting blown out when they try to do all this online dating stuff. And it seems like a complete wash. You're just wasting money. Why? The revenue model says you cannot be successful. Success is customer loss. Listen to me. The game is, if you find somebody, you delete the app and you don't spend money on there anymore. They no longer get data on the user. They no longer see what you're clicking on and how you're clicking. You don't longer spend time on their application. They can't sell your data to anybody. If you hit the delete button, they lose you for life. So their job is to keep you perpetually lonely, miserable, single, and that for them is profitable. Do you see why 98% of guys usually fail on dating apps? It's not even that the issue, it's so much more demonic, you could call it. It's so much more insidious is the real world word for what they're doing on these dating apps. You are being gatekept from a good match. The ELO system does work. They know exactly who to show around you that's currently active, not some inactive profile. They know how to match you. The algorithm was cracked already. On the earliest versions, before the paywalls, right, got instituted everywhere, people were getting matches. It was fine. And then it wasn't. The moment you introduced money and shitification began, the apps got worse. You had to pay to make them decent again. And voila, we've arrived at where the apps no longer work for pretty much anybody unless you are uber successful in terms of looks or money or lifestyle. Okay, this we already know. So we just established they're incentivized to keep you single. They want user retention over success of dating, of course. And they've actually, in a leaked memo, I shit you not, word for word. Our best customers are our loneliest users. How much do they care about you? The answer is they fucking don't, right? The loneliness economy has proved recession proof. Hear me out on that. The worse things get, the more lockdowns we may be instituted with. If the economy goes to shit, men are like this right here. This thing right here in between your legs will always want to get a piece of kitty. Recession or not, men will pay to get a woman. Okay. So when they say the loneliness economy is recession proof, that's what they mean. Because nothing beats, apart from starvation, hunger, nothing beats the drive for sex in a man. And they know this, which is why they monetize the shit out of it. And then we get into the free to play trap. Yes. So it's essentially a window shopping model. You get to browse for free when you start up an account, but they really limit you in your messaging or the amount of swipes, and they'll show you the best profiles, the most attractive people, the highest ELO scores, so that you're front loaded with like 100 matches where you think, oh my God, this app is full of hot chicks. And then you swipe, you max out, and you go, oh shit, it's called chasing the dragon. They make you think that, oh my God, this profile, if I could just match with this one girl, if I could just match with this, if I could just match with that one. No, this one right here. Oh, I'd be she is so hot. We'll fucking marry this one. We'll put a baby in this one. Oh my God. Playing on the man's psyche, right? Of potential infinite choices. Okay. So they're creating desire without any satisfaction. And that's what happens. If you can keep a person locked in desire but never satisfied, they will always desire to match, desire to use the app, spend more to fulfill that desire because it's empty inside. It's meaningless to match a profile. And someone said, I wonder if Bo knows most of us aren't starved at all. We don't want to F goblins. Yeah, but the point is, actually, quite a few men are starved, statistically speaking. You may be successful and you may do well, but statistically speaking, 30% of men, guys, we know the stats, haven't had sex in a year or longer. Maybe I think that might have crept up to around 40%. Think about that. So almost, a third of men are not getting laid. And of those that are, how often? And how much investment, and you're porking some cave troll. So how many men are actually getting to sleep with the women they actually find attractive and want to get to know and have, long-term relationship with? Probably not that many, dude. I think the Pareto principle would apply here as well. 80-20 rule. Maybe only 20% of the men are actually succeeding in getting women that they'd actually be with. So, and yeah, there you go again. You says, I can F for sure, but it still sucks. Yeah. But imagine if I put your dream girl in front of you, it wouldn't suck anymore. That's the point. But not many men have what it takes, let's just say market value wise to get the woman of their dream, the women that, aren't a waste of time, because that usually means a ton of competition. So what they'll do is, going back on the window shopping model, as you're browsing through all these profiles and you're seeing all these hot chicks, and, your first message might institute the paywall, depending on the app you're using, or they'll block you in another way. For example, Bumble, I believe, blocks you from messaging women first, but you could pay your way into messaging them first to try to stand out. They always want to make you pay to stand out. Never forget that. Brother, if you just get gold, diamond, platinum, huge cock edition, you will stand out. We'll put a giant cock in front of your profile so that when you message a chick, she knows you got a python. And it's stupid. It's your desire without fulfillment. And that's what they're getting you with. That's what you're spending money on. Okay. And then what happens is you get psychologically committed. It's a sunk cost fallacy that once you pay, fuck it, I got to use it for the next 30 days. Might as well. And then you get shown a few more hot profiles. Fuck, I ran out of my supers, my likes, my pay to stand out likes. I got to buy some more. Let me get some more. And then the investment bias kicks in all of us, right? Where you don't like to regret your purchases. So your brain does that thing that you do when you buy anything. What else? If you bought a video game, a console, you bought a fucking graphics card, a laptop, anything, man, that you will then convince yourself that, fuck it. Like I'm okay with this product. I'll get the next piece that I'll need. Whatever it is, your brain will go into a coping scenario where even if you don't like what you just bought, you will convince yourself why it was the right decision. Okay. And then they introduce another insidious portion of this is boosting, right? You've all seen it by now. If you've used these apps, they'll charge you $5 to $10 for a boost, and it's essentially gambling mechanics. What the boost does is it gives you like 30 minutes to an hour. Some are even less, like 15 minutes, something like that, where for the next, let's just say 60 minutes, you have priority discovery in the algorithm. So any woman that's got her app turned on right now, you're supposed to be first in line that's shown because you're boosting yourself for visibility. Again, it doesn't work. It's bullshit. All the boosting does is roll back one small paywall so you get shown. If you've noticed, you will boost and get shown willies and cave trolls, because what they do is, remember, you're not supposed to succeed. So even though you paid for the boost, you will get shown just to make it seem like it's working and you got your values worth, but they'll show you to the lowest ELO people imaginable that you want nothing to do with, right? Okay. So then they'll have the premium tier scam that they like to employ, where, you got your basic, where you can't see who likes you, for example, and then you got to upgrade to something like a gold or whatever the fuck, where you can see the likes, but you can't message them directly. And this is the Tinder model. And then they'll have the platinum, or that Uber one that costs like $299 either a month or for lifetime. If you hit the top 5 percentile of user attractiveness, they try to put you in this like elite matching category. If you guys remember, Tinder instituted that. And platinum still has to compete with other platinum users, right? There's always a higher tier for you to purchase. There's always some exclusivity you can buy your way into that gives you a dating advantage. Remember, never fulfillment, always chasing desire. And they've got this down packed because clearly they're making billions of dollars off of this shit. Billions of men's money, right? Dollar value amounts for the loneliness epidemic. Why do you think OnlyFans has exploded the way it has, right? So the way it looks is you have to pay to play, but the house will always win because you can't even see the deck stacked against you. You think it's working because you paid your way to win, and they give you a little bit of wins, but they're catastrophic losses because now you're out $30, $60, $100, and you got cave trolls and willies, and that's it. Or dead profiles that don't match you. Actual bots that they've created, profiles that are botting accounts that are made to message you once, then don't reply anymore. You ever had that happen to you? You were most likely talking to a bot. Thanks, Reminator. And then you have, I guess, the eggheads. They've instituted the optimization of dopamine on these accounts. Right? Think of the perfection that they've managed to achieve with this. They'll do the A/B testing, right? Like notification timing. They'll find out exactly when they should send you that message, at what time in the day you should get notifications at, when you should start liking. Hey, it's peak hours right there in your brain. Sounds like success. That's how they catch you. You need to do a boost during peak hours to stand where most of our users, can we even verify that most of your users are online at a designated time, you say, during the day? Then you have the color psychology, right? This is the basic stuff like red dots are urgency. So they've got this perfectly made, guys, by eggheads in little rooms that understand the brain far better than you. Psychologists literally work on these products. Yes? So as you're scrolling down your profile, you see that little red dot. That's that warrant. Oh, new match. Let me check. Most likely a fucking bot or some chick that matched you because what? She has her Instagram in her bio or her OF link and just follow me there. So she's farming simps on dating apps, has no intention to date you or do anything with you. Yeah. And literally, right? They have psychology teams, guys. They've hired. It's been on record that they have ex-casino designers. Tinder CPO, right? I have it written here from Caesar's Palace. Tinder CPO is from Caesar's Palace. Yeah. And their job postings, when you look at them too, if you do deep research into this shit, it says literally gaming or gambling experience for a dating app. You don't need a relationship experience, right? Psychology experience in that sense, right? Matchmaking of any kind. Nothing. What you really need is gaming and gambling experience. That tells you exactly what this app is, right? Engagement optimization departments, entire departments meant to, be like finding out the absolute optimized way to have like rewards sent out to your brain to keep you addicted, like a game does when you open up a loot box and you get a really good item, and then you'll buy 6 more loot boxes hoping you can hit it big again, and they give you shitty common items. Yeah, that's it. It's that same model. It's very predatory because you're predating on men's loneliness while instituting gambling mechanics on top of that. It's like handing an alcoholic huge bottles of alcohol and tell him, go easy, bro. Chill real quick. You're so lonely. I'll show you super hot dime pieces. And then we'll go into the gambling dynamic to make you addicted to the idea that you could one day land one of these. But by the way, pay us a ton of money for this too, right? And you can see these kinds of issues everywhere. For example, I think it's called dark UX, something like that. It's known in the software world where they'll do stupid shit like canceling the apps. How much of a pain in the ass? Like there's certain apps, they won't let you delete your account unless you type delete. And then once you delete your account, before you could even delete the account, they'll ask you some stupid shit like, give me a reason while you're deleting your account. And then you give them a reason. It's like, so sad to see you go. Would you like to pause your account instead if you decide to come back? Or, how about we give you another 30 days free premium? Maybe this will work. And what they do is they modify the algorithm if you decide to stay to show you more matches to keep you reeled in. It's a drug. Then the application starts working just a little bit though for like 24 hours. Maybe it's different this time. I should have gave it a shot. It works. This is how they trap you. Yes. And other more nefarious applications that, people have used web-based, they'll make you call to cancel, for example. The price, they'll start increasing the prices of the products. If you've noticed on Tinder, Bumble, all these other ones, like the price of the basic entry for the program to be unlocked for you has gone up dramatically. And they even are ageist because if you're past, I believe, what is it, guys? 27 years old? I believe if you're over 27 years old, the app charges you, it went from like $15 to $30, right? Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember that depending on your age, they charge you extra money. How fucked is that? Okay. Yeah. And because their job is they're not selling dating, they're selling hope to you. And there's plenty of hopium on dating apps. And hope is the most expensive drug there is. You can deal hope forever. And it is so profitable, right? So let me show you guys how they, gamify rejection, essentially, which is a lot of problems that guys are going through. So, we used to go at the bar and get rejected. And now we just open up our phones and get absolutely crushed. So we'll get 0 matches unless we pay for something. And, or unless you're an absolute stud 1%er, right? But we're talking for average men, how they're getting digitally pimped because the 1%er doesn't need dating apps. And if he does use dating apps, he's just rounding up a bunch to pump and dump. So regardless, this, the exception doesn't make the rule. And how they gamify all of this stuff or gamify is, for example, I guess you call it a volume difference, right? The amount of times that you can swipe on somebody will be limited, of course. Why? Because they don't want you spamming the app with likes, but also it gets you to pay. It's kind of nuts if you think about the psychology of everything. You used to go to a bar and you would get rejected maybe 1 or 2 times. The rejections typically weren't bad. Body language plays a key role in the energy you bounce back from one another, and that'd be fine. 1 or 2, maybe sometimes you had mutual friends and whatever it was, like, you were at the club all night, you bumped into each other a couple of times, you finally said hello, something like that, right? It was much more organic than the process. And the fact that you were there in person, she could see you top down, and right, there's a lot of chemistry there that body language used to take care of, and it's now missing. For example, sarcasm is very hard to actually make work. Jokes in text doesn't come across too well, but in person, that stuff used to work. And one of the most effective ways of getting a woman in bed is being able to make her laugh also, right? You turn the bitch shield off with humor, which is really hard to reproduce over text, especially on a dating app where while you're having a conversation, she's being messaged by 10 other dudes. Yeah. So now the new way is by the time you wake up, bro, you've been rejected 500 times because you matched, or at least you swiped right on fucking 1,000 profiles with your pay to win plan. and you don't have any matches or maybe one or two, and they're absolute wheelies, ginormous, diabetes, blood like molasses. So you're going to have to go dumpster diving with the piggies. You're fucked. And you start to think, is there something wrong with me? Am I fucking ugly? What's happening here? How can I possibly not get any matches, bro? And the chicks that match me, I wouldn't even fuck with my homie's dick. What's happening here? Well, that's the dating apps making you depressed to get you to spend money. Not that you're actually that ugly, right? It's a design. It's a psychological thing. And we'll get into the super chats after this one, guys. It's going to take a minute, but we'll do a Q&A at the end with some of the super chats. And another thing is that rejection becomes normalized in this background, essentially. So your day-to-day grinding, doing what it is that you're doing to get ahead, all this other stuff, the stress and the pressure of work and all this stuff. And the issue is that when you used to face rejection in person, it mattered in some sense. But now that you can get digitally rejected, and digitally rejected in an insane way, like I'm talking like he had a fish in the picture, his shirt was red, his hair is weird, like for the stupidest things, but that stings nonetheless. And especially if you manage to get a match and then you talk to a girl and then the conversation goes cold, because again, the body language is missing. The chemistry that you would have otherwise been building in person is gone. And it's hard to keep someone's attention that already is a fucking goldfish because they're distracted by TikTok or they're distracted by 50 other dudes that she just matched. And those 50 other dudes are all like absolute fucking specimens. And then you get lost, dude, in the wave of simping and thirsting. This is what makes this shit impossible. And they know this, which is why they've developed a monetizable strategy to get you to spend to stand out from that wave of messaging, right? And the algorithm gets manipulated. We touched on that earlier, but they'll show you the attractive matches early, like I said. That's the hook, right? Like a video. You see the first 30 seconds of a video on YouTube of Mr. Beast, that's your hook. Super high energy, incredible visuals, great editing and pacing, and then, I got to see the rest of this video. You set the tone for the rest of the experience. The same thing. They've just instituted this in dating. They hook you with the greatest profiles they have to show you that you have no chance of fucking matching. You will never match these people. Most of them probably don't even exist. They're bots. They're meant to hook you in, right? Chasing the dragon, like the heroin addicts. That's what it is for them, chasing the dragon. It's this need, this insatiable need to have an attractive partner, right? A beautiful woman to pay attention to you, that you get hooked immediately, especially when you factor in you compound the loneliness that men are feeling today, the crippling loneliness, right? Then you've noticed, every one of you have noticed that you get a gradual decrease in quality. This is called desperation. This is where the hope gets pulled down from you, and now you become desperate. Good morning to you as well, brother. And so they have platform like specific tactics to make this shit happen. The ELO, for example, on Tinder and all the other ones that are under a match group, they punish frequent swipers. You guys remember in the early days of Tinder, for example, they had like robots with fingers and shit or auto swiping programs that, a dude would wake up and he swiped 3,000 fucking accounts that was, in his general area, whatever his parameters were set to. And then he would have hundreds of chicks auto messaged also with like, something simple, stupid joke. And there's entire threads and forums talking about like perfect intros, quickest way to like logistics of getting a phone number and a date and shit like this. And it used to be a numbers game for men like that, and they automated it. And then the dating app overlords got pissed when they saw that kind of stuff. And so now you have a penalty for swiping right. Okay, so you have to be picky now, much pickier than normal. And then Bumble will have something called like the 24-hour clock, basically, that she has to message you back, and that creates a sense of urgency in you. It makes you fucking nervous. Like, please see my message. Please message me back. Fuck, she's so hot. We matched. Oh my God, this chick is hot as fuck. Please, if she could just send me a 24 hours. And then you could extend the time on that so that maybe, hopefully, she sees your message and messages you back. And that's how Bumble reels you in. You see how they create this sense, this like dread, this urgency? How many have you matched on Bumble, for example, guys, where the timer has just completely run out? Now, is it wild to say potentially that could those have been fake profiles that they used specifically to get you in the doom loop to spend more money? How easy is it to find a extremely hot chick on Bumble, match with her? That's probably out of your league if we're being honest. And then the counter just counts down and your brain goes into dread. Fuck, dude. I just fuck it. You know what? I'll just spend on that extension, whatever it costs. Buy 6 extensions for like $7.99, whatever the fuck their prices are. They got you. That's the gamification of this. They got you. That's the gambling side of this. Okay. If she actually messages you, that's great. Congratulations. But for the vast majority of men, the average user, this is how they trap. These are tactics to trap you into paying for a product that's broken. It's designed to stay broken for you because that's how they extract maximum profit from you. Yeah. And then what they do is, you've seen, like what I mentioned, dude, you get spiked essentially with one good match. When you're about to quit the fucking, it detects when you decrease usage. And then it'll show you a match that you swiped on weeks ago. So like, here's what they do. For example, you download the app, you swipe, you get no matches, you think this shit sucks. And then you get off the app. It knows your activity time day to day. It sees the decreased usage. And what happens next is that in order to reel you back in like a fish, keep you addicted, they got to show you a good profile or two that keeps you interested. They know what you swipe on, what your type is quickly. Within like 10 swipes, the algorithms got you painted down perfectly. And then what they do, they'll show your profile or match you with one of these. I think they're bots. They'll match you with one of the bot profiles that they keep hot right there ready for an insta match. The moment you try to quit the app, boom, you get a match. And oh no, but the timer. Oh no, but she doesn't message you. And it's game over. And this is the kind of shit that they do to keep you under control. And a lot of guys don't know that this kind of shit's happening. They think like because you're a man. The first thing you're going to think is, what the fuck's wrong with me? You know, is there something wrong with me? But no, actually the app is designed exactly for this. It works as intended. Guys, don't ever think like this app is shit. These apps don't work at all. It is. It works perfectly. If your intention is money, then it's not, there is no better product. Think about the amount of money you're making. Stupendous amounts forever in perpetuity. As long as you're lonely and thirsty, you get paid. Beautiful model. Beautiful model. You think men are going to start succeeding when they're addicted to apps like that? Come on, man. Okay. So where are we going to next here? The numbers game. And this is the reality of it all. Actually, we'll play that last super chat first. Let's get into that one.
Lawrence Woodall sent $9.99. Bo, I'm glad you popped up in my feed, you're the GOAT. Recommended you to 2 friends at my workplace. On my way to getting in shape/losing weight.
I appreciate you, Lawrence. That is baller stuff, brother. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. Everybody has been here for a hot minute since the very beginning. And thank you for showing it to your friends. Good shit. Keep at it, dude. Don't stop. Work out. It's for you. Remember, never ever do things for other people. Always start with yourself, because that's how you basically survive for the long haul. If your motivation is external, it's outside of you, whether it's women, money, fame, whatever it is, you're doomed to fail. But if the motivation is internal, that's called discipline. That's where discipline comes in, because you're going to be able to continue because you do it for you. Yep. Health is wealth, boys. So essentially, back to what we were talking about here, dating apps essentially turn rejection into, a life lesson. That's essentially encapsulated as a loading screen for everybody with insane profits, right? So what is the numbers game reality if we talk about it? Okay, what do you think the average is? We're going to guess what 100 swipes gets you 1 match, or, what is it? 10 matches get you 1 conversation, something like that. So essentially it's 1,000 swipes for 1 coffee. 1,000 swipes. What is the time investment there, guys? Actually, it's tracked. The time investment is 90 minutes a day swiping. 90 minutes. A lot of you have said in the chat you don't use them anymore and you deleted them, but think about it. 90 minutes what could you get done in 90 minutes? This is daily swiping. It's 90 minutes. You could train your body to be a Greek god with 90 minutes of high intensity training every single day. Every single day. Daily. With 90 minutes, bro, you can teach yourself by the end of like 6 months, you could be super proficient in something that starts to earn you money or on the road to making you money, a side hustle. 90 minutes could be spent daily building something, a product that you may sell. 90 minutes daily. is unfathomable. Now, if you add in social media use, if you add in whatever other bullshit that the average man spends daily doing, consuming, right? Consuming bullshit, including dating apps, most men are living far beneath their potential. They're trapped in this loop that preys on their loneliness, their need to connect, their sexual hunger, all this stuff that we're talking about. This is why it's called digital pimping, because you're the product, you're the hoe. They're using your time to make money. You're hoeing for free. You're not even getting paid. You're not even rewarding with fucking puss, nothing. You're rewarded with time wasted. All the rewards literally go to them. That's why you're a hoe. That's why you're getting pimped, right? Just like a hoe gives a pimp all her money. Her hole's getting stuffed, but the pimp's getting everything. That shit's great. 90 minutes daily, guys. The potential is absolutely insane. So you're spending, by average calculations, 10 hours a week for maybe a date, 10 hours a week. What could you learn if you dedicated 10 hours every week for 1 year to something? You would solve a lot of your problems with 10 hours of investment time weekly. Yet you're doing this to get maybe one coffee date with some fucking willy or straight slag that's been pumped and dumped into another fucking dimension at a maybe opportunity to get a sniff of some shit that's panties has been fucking dog walked by 30 dudes within a 2-mile radius. Unbelievable. And this is why so many men go, I'm good, bro. I'd rather not at all. Okay. It's not dating. You're being data mined, especially your heart. That's all it is, right? But the real scam is in this ratio. And that moves us to the next section. What do you think the actual ratio of women to men on the platforms are? What do you think the demographics are? I'll let you guys guess. What do you think? Percentage? How many percent are male users? I'll let you guys while I take a sip here. Just so you can know how absolutely fucked it is. 70%, huh? 23%? 30%? You think 30% is male users? Come on. 75 to 25. Okay. 10 to 90. 80%, 80-20? 80-20 rule probably. You're really close. You see the Pareto principle will play in real life. Yeah. Pump those rookie numbers up. 20%. Tinder 75% male. In the urban areas, it's 80% of the user base is male. Ages 18 through 25, if that's what your age range is where you're searching, that's 85% men. Active users, in totality, 90% men. This is for Tinder. 90% of active profiles are men. I want you to think about that when you launch Tinder and you feel like a failure and that shit isn't working. 90% are fucking dudes, bro. It's a sausage fest. You never had a shot. You never had your car, bro. You guys remember that? Fast and the Furious, the OG one, not this whack shit that's out today. More than you could afford, pal. Ferrari. And then he gets smoked by the fucking Supra. What a GOAT movie. All right. Oh, and hold on. We forgot the trans issue today. So, shout outs Netherlands, brother. Of the profiles that claim to be women, how many are dudes? So that 90% is probably 95%. So we've achieved stupendous numbers. 95% will probably say, okay, I don't know if it's 5% is pretty fucking high of the remaining female base, but I do remember the last time I went, I had my dating profiles, not this last December, previous, and I was matching rainbow dudes. Rainbow dudes were all over the dating apps, like, bro, atrocious nightmare level shit. And I just, being here in the Balkans, currently in Zagreb, in Croatia, and in Bucharest, I count my fucking blessings, bro. When I opened up my dating apps and all that shit, absolute honeys, stupendous matches. Quality shot up dramatically. Average here is hot in America. The women were fucking nice. Everybody responds. You took care of your body, your mind, all that shit I told you guys over the years. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. The quality goes up dramatically. Even just a whatever date is actually incredible compared to an American one with the respect you get. And in America, you get what for your hard work? A dude in a dress. Bot profiles. And of the remainder, the 10% there, once you reduce for the bot profiles and transformers, what do you really have? 5%? So 5% of the active user base, potentially real women. Insane. Bumble, 70% male, despite them using that female first marketing. And I remember I used to see Bumble ads on those car chargers over at Whole Foods in Arizona when I was shopping. The Whole Foods by me was like, Bumble. the best way to find the love of your life. Really, America? Bumble? Okay. And then it had Ashley Madison. You guys know that, right? Uh, that's basically where men go to cheat. So married men having like affairs. That's what Ashley Madison was. They had 31. Imagine the degeneracy. 31 million men on that website just to cheat on their wives. 31 fucking million of them. And only 5%, 5 million of them were women. So 90, and they were getting sued, if I'm not mistaken. Like 90% of the women on Ashley Madison, they found out were bots and they were getting sued for this shit. You can look at this stuff up, right? Now, why do you think they would hide this kind of data? Because you wouldn't play the game if you knew the fucking odds were stacked against you this horrendously. How many of you would pay for any features if you knew 9 out of 10 profiles on this app are fucking dudes? And of the 10% that are women, after transformers and after bots, you might have 5%. The numbers are garbage. Garbage. Okay? They create the false sense of abundance. Well, of course they would. They're financially, emboldened to, because they earn money off of this shit. You can't sell not abundance, right? Non-abundance. You can't sell a fucking barren app that doesn't have real women on there. Yeah. And people complain that these apps are shit anyways for this very reason. So, they'll allow premium features that seem valuable, right? Like see who likes you first. It's fucking bots. They'll tell you to boost your profile to see more bots or dudes in dresses. It's a sausage fest with makeup on. That's it. And you're seeing it more and more, especially in the West. It shocked me because over here, the transformer shit is not a thing at all, right? So the bot epidemic is the next section that we have to talk about. The evolution of the fake profile. Before you used to be able, in like 2015, guys, and earlier, you could tell what was a fake profile. They used shitty pictures or weird fucking angles or grainy photos and no bio and, stupid weird names like Carl, but it's a chick, right? So the initial bots were super easy to spot. Then you go into like 2020, and then now you're starting to have like AI generated faces. And up until today, you have deep fake video profiles. There's literally video, like it'll be a dude. That's how men are getting scammed. It'll be a dude dancing to one of those like shorts that you could upload to your dating profile. But there's an active filter that puts a female's face on him. That's AI generated, and detection is becoming impossible for that. Whether the applications want that to exist on there or not, they can't detect if that's real or fake. We're getting to a point where the profile looks real bio, real connections. You can't tell. And the person messaging you even speaks like a real person. And then they'll convince you to add them, to send them things, to, blah, 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 blah. And then they scam the thirstiest, the loneliest of people that don't know any better. Mostly boomers and shit that, pay for all these women and send them money and all that shit. But even the younger guys, it happens, and the platforms are complicit in this because it brings them users. The bots literally boost their fucking user numbers, which they then use to pitch to investors that then makes it seem like their platform is active, which balloons their evaluations, right? And so they get more money. They're literally getting paid to lie about the user base. Do you see how predatory this industry is, right? And it drives the premium features because you need more, like the gold to message back more if you're limited by messaging or by matching, whatever. So they benefit from the bots. Here you go. This is attention economy math. It's very simple, right? If the average woman gets something like 100 plus likes a day, and we know that even those numbers are low, 500 to 1,000, yeah? And the average man gets maybe 2 to 3 likes a month. Average man, remember, average man. Maybe you can say 2 to 3 a week, but let's just go with like average 2 to 3 per month, right? With sprinkling some extra delusion that fucks with our variables there, right? So the top 10% men, which we already know really has turned into the top 5%, will get 90% of the matches or more. And the bottom 80% have to compete for the bottom 20% of women. Those are your cave trolls, your willies, your transformers, and whatever dredges from society. Absolute fucking monsters just come out of the woodwork, and you're porking demons. So fine, okay. And then men are paying for this, called chasing the dragon. You saw the pretty girl, but you ended up porking a demon, bro. All right. So it's digital window shopping for ghosts. They don't even exist. That's how bad it is. How fucked is that? And it gets worse with this pricing model, right? Because there's the subscription exploitation that they do. It's not a one-time thing. You don't pay for a lifetime account to unlock shit. You got to keep paying, bro, to keep using, right? That's how you form the addiction. You don't do crack once and feel great forever. You got to keep on smoking that shit over and over again. You're a lifelong user. It's an addiction they're building into your mind. Yeah, so a basic thing would cost you what? If you broke it down monthly, you'll pay, what is that shit? $30 for the basic? $30 for the basic, yeah? Then what's gold? 50 maybe? Then they want you to pay for platinum. That's probably upwards of $100 or some shit like that to get priority everything and all this shit. And then your boost, if you want to start using boost or super likes, something like 5-10 per instance of a boost. And so you could be spending a couple of $100 a month. Couple of $100 a month to match a Willie on a date, which you spent 10 hours a week investment in at minimum. And you get for your return what? What do you get? Yeah, fresh, team, beautiful tea. What do you get, guys, for hundreds of dollars a month, 10 plus hours a week, infinite levels of depression, and to pork a stank Willie? Talk to me. If it's even real. What if you go on a date and it's a burly ass looking dude talking about, that was me with a little bit of filters, got a fucking 5 o'clock shadow, bro. Then what are you going to do? Talking about, hey, Ted, sorry I look rough today. I didn't shave. Oh, my Lord, dude. What the fuck? You fucking bigot. Oh, my God. The clown show. And you're a clown for participating in it. Yeah, that's true. Oh, my God. Right. So let's do the annual reality check. I had this broken down by the numbers. You could spend upwards of $2,400 on the projections that we had to get rejected. $2,400 a year to get rejected. You could do dude, with that kind of money, check this out. If you wanted to like profile max, right? You could buy a professional photographer with that kind of money. You can hire actual matchmakers that do all the heavy lifting for you. Right? Some people are spending $500 a month on dating apps alone. $500 fucking dollars a month just to get told no by a Willie or a 6 o'clock shadow, 5 o'clock shadow looking motherfucker talking about, it's ma'am. It's ma'am. All right, dude. So, if you're undergoing this kind of shit, what is the hidden psychological cost to all this, guys? Well, I mentioned to you, the sunk cost fallacy, bro. They trap you. Like, you got to convince yourself and cope with the purchase you just made. It's like, holy fuck, bro, I'm spending this much money. I need to get something out of this shit, right? Sunk cost fallacy fully kicked in. You already spent $300, bro. Might as well continue the shit. Fuck it. Why not? Maybe I didn't try long enough. This is your brain talking bullshit to you. Maybe if I do it a little longer, maybe, 2 weeks, a month's not enough time. I probably got to be on this 3-4 months, maybe 6 months. Well, it worked for Ted. And I got at least what Ted's got. So I'll give this 6 months at $300 a month. Fucking madness. Yeah. And then, the premium features create that investment mindset, right? The subscription shame keeps you trapped. You can't ever go off of it because, well, fuck, you're going to go back to being gatekept hardcore. And so everything locks. The entire process locks on you. If you had even a little bit of extra success, you're going to claim in your brain to yourself as a cope that this worked. I got a few matches, so maybe it's my profile. Maybe I need better pictures. And that might be true. But also, the system is working against you. Maybe my opener was shit. I messaged Sandy and I think I said the wrong thing and I told her if she wanted to see a picture of my dick too quick. So like, I'm going to cool it on the dick pics and, I'm fucking with you. But what I'm really telling you is that the system's designed for you to fail. Yes, it's true that some of you have horrendous openers and some of you have horrendous pictures. But even back then when Tinder was fresh and working without being gatekept, even those people were doing fine and getting matches. That's what it is. You understand? And it's like, how would you say this? Guys are basically paying a car payment. If you think about it, $300 to $500 a month. That's a car note, dude, to get rejected. How nuts is that? You could be driving a brand new whip just to be told by Willies no. And that gets us into the whale economy. And we all know diabetes is an epidemic, obesity, epidemic. We got molasses blood. Shit's an epidemic. And it's targeting the power users because you got to filter out the willies somehow. And you got to pay to filter out this shit because it'll show you 30 million willies first before a decent woman. She's over here laughing next to me. And it's true. It's true, right? Because, and then I'm a fucking lunatic. 20% of users essentially are 80% of their revenue. Think about it. The power users spending the most money, the guys that don't give a fuck, the thirstiest dudes or the richest dudes are spending a ton of the money, dude. So it's not you, chump, that tries subscription tier once. It's the dude that's so thirsty for sex. He's buying the ultimate edition, big dick supreme profile and still failing, but will continue to buy it because fuck it, bro. I ain't dying alone. I'm going to give this 100%. I'm not toe dipping shit. If I'm going to fucking do this and find a bitch, I'm going to do it the right way. Give me all the fucking willies. I'm going to filter through all. You're laughing and willies making her laugh, right? So they create VIP tiers for the biggest spenders. It's all bullshit. You're not VIP. You look like a fucking cuck. A woman comes across your profile, and if it's marked in any way specifically, like you're a VIP user or a power user, gay, she's clicking off of you. Like, you're a simp, bro. How thirsty are you? Like, your profile needs to look the least fucks given imaginable. That's the problem. You can't be having all these shots. This is why when you super like chicks or do like mega boost and if it shows that to women, they're less likely to match you. But they don't want you to know that, though. They sell it to you as like it increases your match rate. It increases your chance of success. But women see that shit as desperation. Gay. Ugh, this dude bought that shit. He's paying for this fucking VIP. Ugh. No wonder. Look at him. That's what they're thinking. All right. So you will be doomed to willies on VIP packages. All right. And these addiction patterns are tracked by them and exploited. And they'll tell you in the app, it gives you warnings. Friday night boost. We'll give you a discount. Hey, everybody, at 6:00 is peak usage time. You sure you don't want to, boost your way into some matches, bro? You sure you don't want to super like this chick? Like, once you like a chick, they'll even go back. The profile will go back and be like, hey, send her a super like to increase the chance that she responds. Knowing that she sees that shit, she'll go, ugh, loser, not responding. All right. The point is, it's retention over success, right? How many success stories do you hear? Do they track success stories? Do you see on Tinder, like they have a little vlog series where they show 2 users that have succeeded? Are they pushing success, right? Or are they pushing monetizable features to keep users pinned in their ecosystem to extract maximum value from them? Think about it. Do any of these apps share success stories? Do they build a kind of walled garden, a place where you can meet somebody and the app works? None. Not one. Not one. We should make one, honestly. All you would need to do is show people ads. If you're a successful fucking programmer, engineer, shit like that, I'll fucking push the app, bro. We'll sell it on here. It'll be very simple. We only show ads. The algorithm is simple. Who's online and who's closest, show everybody. I guarantee you, by word of mouth alone, it spreads. We'll sell that shit to Match Group and it'll turn to dog shit as soon as they buy us out because they buy out all competition, and you make millions doing that. Easy peasy. You want me to market it? You got to do the rest because I don't fuck with computers like that. I'm not a coder. But you better hurry because Claude's getting good. Might code that shit myself. So, anyways, besides the success stories not being shown ever, right? The churn models, they have like prediction models built in to understand the churn rate. If you don't know what churn rate is to a subscription, churn is exactly what it sounds like. The amount of people that get churned out, that get that decline the monthly subscription for you, turned, users that no longer subscribe. So they have very sophisticated modeling for that to see exactly what they need to keep you failing just enough that you stay on. Not too much that you quit and not too much that you succeed either, right? Just in that Goldilocks zone. You're barely scraping by. Willies are enough. Because if you didn't even match willies, you knew this shit was broken. Like, this app's fucked, bro. You get 0 matches. Like, this shit's not working at all. I got bots and dudes in dresses. Like, come the fuck on. Something's wrong with the app. So you gotta feed him something because the guy is starving, right? A drop of water is nice when you're fucking starving out there in the desert, dying of thirst, right? So essentially it's like a subscription to sadness that auto renews monthly, and that's what you're getting, yeah. That's why I say it's digital pimping, because the algorithm is the real pimp here. Yeah, we're getting deep, huh? Okay. And then, for example, let's get into Instagram, right? What does Instagram track? So you can understand just how advanced algorithmically the platforms actually have become. People think they're a lot more basic than they actually are. They can see things like the pause time on a photo. If you pause on a photo longer than needed, it signals interest. Zoom behavior. Are you zooming in on a photo, the face, or the body? If you're on Instagram and you zoom in on some chick's tits, guess what the next photo in your feed will be? A chick with tits the same as that other chick. The same size, similar size. Let's try bigger size this time. Let's show a smaller one. And then you zoom in more and more tits are shown. And it's got you hooked. It knows, bro, after a few swipes, what you're into, what you're staring at, exactly what you're looking at. And even when you take a little screenshot, it knows. That's the equivalent of like saving a photo. That's high interest behavior. If it's literally screenshots are the highest signal that they have for interest. So when you've ever screenshotted something, like if you're thinking of buying something, if you're thinking of going traveling somewhere, if you're anything at all, and you screenshot that thing, you just signaled the algorithm that super strong interest in this exact thing. It'll keep showing you more and more and more, right? Then DMs. Believe it or not, even that shows interest, and it's a thing. If you DM a model on Instagram, right, it starts building a desperation profile of you, and it starts to show you more models like that chick, so you could DM more, so you could spend more time on the profile. Instagram is the ultimate dating app. Instagram has the most sophisticated algorithm of them all, right? And they do cross-platform targeting too, by the way, because Meta owns all this dating data across all of their fucking apps, right? For example, how you browse on Instagram will affect Facebook dating if you use that, right? It's a tangled web, but they're all connected, right? And WhatsApp contacts get analyzed too. In America, nobody uses WhatsApp because it's strange. But in the rest of the world, WhatsApp is your equivalent of like iMessage, except they can track absolutely everything you're doing in WhatsApp. And so they use that to build a dossier, if you will, on you, on your behavior, right? That's crazy. Think about how many people know that it tracks how you zoom on pictures. Not many people actually know this kind of shit. So there goes your complete loneliness profile built on you. Exactly what you click on, what you like, who you message, the type that you're into, everything. It knows and sees it all. And that's all it will show you. So you get on Instagram and you swipe through nothing but exactly your type of women, exactly what you're looking for, poses, where they're traveling, the things that they're doing. How do you think that affects your brain as a man? Think about it. And then how do they monetize it? Because yeah, looking at shit's cool, but you get the ad that will target you based on the loneliness profile that was built, right? For example, dating ads. Think about this. They usually happen after 11 p.m. You get dating ads. Why? ED medication. Have you seen those ads after dating app use? They know what the fuck you're clicking on. Self-help content for rejected men that'll kick you while you're down. You know, it'll be some weird like self-help guru that's like all jacked up, juiced up, saying the crazy shit. You know, like the most toxic of the manosphere, if you want to even put them in that. They're the what would you call these guys? The pickup artist and shit. Telling me why you're a bitch if you can't do this. Why it's like absolute like degenerate shit. Straight reject shit. It's cringe, but they feed you that on purpose because the message is extreme enough to make you feel like shit. And when you feel like shit, you use the app more and more. Nate, thanks, brother. Big fan. Oh, you have a YouTube video for me to react to. Nice. Send that shit. Did you send it over on Yahoo? And yes, you're right. Also, Google Analytics collects and sells this kind of information. It's worth a gold mine, actually. You know, they know your type better than you. That's the sad part, actually. That's how crazy these models have become. Like they model you perfectly. I think there was an episode on Black Mirror where it was a dating app episode, I think, or something, where they had like a predictive model of online users. Was it a dating app episode? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And this thing knew absolutely everything about the person, everything predictively modeled after them and fed them the Absolutely perfect amount of ads, the perfect, matches with people, everything. It knew everything. It built everything. I forgot what episode that was, but it's absolutely shocking. And then you have this one affects women particularly, but we'll keep it on, the TikTok manipulation machine as it pertains to men, right? So you have a content pipeline that they'll feed you. And TikTok really came on the scene because it had the most explosive algorithm that just instantly caught your attention with just how quick firing it was. You swiped up, everybody copied that system now. YouTube has the shorts, Instagram has reels, and they all copy TikTok, like short form content. TikTok is the king of that. You swipe up, bro, and it just knows how to show you everything it needs to show you, right? So it'll serve you relationship content to single men, right? MGTOW content to dudes that are angry, or have been divorced or whatever. It serves you the exact content that keeps you on. So be careful what you're consuming, right? For example, a day in my life, you ever seen those videos? Usually it's attractive women, but most of their viewers is men. Why do you think that is? A day in my life. The comments are all simpy dudes. Think about it. It knows how to match you with exactly the thing you want, right? And then it shifts slowly, gradually to a more like suggestive content, something like OnlyFans. So you went to a day in my life to slightly more extreme, where the chick is just showing as much as she can, although passing guidelines, saying things as much as she can within guidelines and gets you to subscribe to an OnlyFans link. That's the pipeline. Yeah. Tracks you emotionally. How quickly you're scrolling past shit. Like I mentioned, multiple watches tracked. If the video loops because you keep watching it, that's a strong indicator. Comment sentiment gets analyzed, right? You build parasocial relationships. So how many times are you commenting under those videos you just watched? All of this is tracked nonstop. Did you imagine if you could actually see the back end of the amount of information that they have on you, the profile, the little digital dossier of yourself. It'd be like Ted. He likes big booties, This guy likes titties like this, prefers this kind of woman, looks at this kind of content. He likes chicks jumping up and down. This one likes ass videos, This one prefers women on cars. This one, blah, 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 blah. And it never ends, bro. Never ends, right? It's reading your mind through your thumb. That's what it is. So it's insane. What's going on, Oscar? We'll see you on school too later on today, bro. So it says, we all have the ELO. We already know that, it's a quick way to give you a score, how many times you get matched and how many times you get swiped over, right? And that determines who gets to see your profile. So if your ELO score is jacked, it's essentially creating a digital caste system. Like it won't show you to anybody. What the app is supposed to do is no matter if you're ugly or not, you're supposed to get shown because you're in the general vicinity. But you can be put into a black hole, essentially, a hell you can't escape. So there is digital caste systems depending on, and you could find these out immediately just by making a profile of some male model and watch the matches he gets at the rate that he gets without having to pay for a single thing. But if you make a profile of an average dude and your ELO gets turned to shit, you literally, even though you pay for a bailout, you don't get the bailout. That's how it works. Yeah. And they always have the 24-hour manipulation boost, right? So I think this is fairly common that people know new users get shown to more people. So in those first 24 hours, like it seems to work. And then after that, it goes to shit. Yeah. So it creates the false sense of success. And even for returning users, they'll be like, fuck, this has changed. It's so much better now. Boom, it dies out. And then you pay for that experience, that hit again. So the drop off after 48 hours is essentially like the first hit's on me, bro. Here's a little crack. Try this out. Great new product I got. That's on me. And afterwards, you're going to pay for the next one. Voila. Beautiful system. Yeah. And obviously, we know about the psychology of notifications. Yes, if someone likes you, you want to pay to see that shit, right? You get a push notification at lonely hours. Hey, get back on here on Tinder. We miss you. There's so many people active right now. Hey, intermittent, it's called the Pavlov system, right? Where it's an intermittent reinforcement that they schedule to keep you using. So, and it never ends because it preys on the loneliness, again, which they're financially incentivized to keep you in that exact position. All right. So It's like, it's insane. It's like you get off the app, it tracks the very second a little timer starts, and then boom, immediately it reminds you. It knows when you're at your weakest, boom, and it pulls you back in, right? And now we have to talk about OnlyFans because that's where the mask comes off for all of this, right? This is the digital pimping funnel, and we're arriving at the end game of this exploitation. So this is the true digital pimp business model. OnlyFans, which all of these social media platforms begin funneling from, right? Or to. All of them funnel to. So it's essentially platform economics, yeah? They take 20% of all transactions, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what their pimp fee is, but for everybody that earns money, they take 20% cut. There's no service that they provide apart from like hosting. And there is zero liability for content. How beautiful is that as a business model? Not liable for anything. We only take a small cut, and we host all your content. Yeah. It's straight rent seeking. That's simple. And the revenue has exploded for that. We had $5 billion in, I think, 2023 alone is what they said. And $5 billion. $5 billion from one website, of which most of them are married men. That was one of the shocking statistics for me, is that a lot of the guys spending money on OnlyFans were already married. That one I didn't see coming. I thought it was the loneliest of the loneliest that couldn't even get pussy at all. But it turned out to be married men. Imagine. I don't know if they demographically broke it down by race and by age. That would have been very interesting to see. How many of them are older? I suspect a lot of them were older. And it's growing. I don't know if it's 50% year over year, 60%, 70%. It's exploding. Why? Because it's like linear with male desperation and loneliness. The more men are lonely and desperate, the more OnlyFans explodes and grows. So people are thinking, oh, AI is going to change everything. Oh, women are about to lose their jobs. Oh, all this other shit, like OnlyFans is going to die. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. The end user experience may change, but the business model proved effective, and it will last because we see it's tied to male loneliness, right? You could call it, I think technically you can make the case this is the most honest, dishonest business model of them all. I would say they're more honest than Tinder, Bumble, all the dating apps. I would say OnlyFans is in your face. You know what you're paying for, straight up, right there, in your face. You can make that logical argument with it. Oldest profession in the world, yeah, in new packaging, essentially. It is. I had an article here that actually we could cover later. It was talking about, I think, the New York Post is interviewing like top OnlyFans creators and their experience with the app was. And most guys, they're claiming that, it's not like sexual things that they're asking for. They're just talking. And I know that to be true because it's similar in the strip clubs. The guys are going there to chat, to be seen, to connect, to be heard because they're lonely. They just want to have a conversation, to be, what would you say? I guess you could just leave it simply at that, to feel connection with a woman. What a sad state of affairs. That's insanity, dude. Yeah. And then you have well, I wouldn't even get into that part, but we already know. I'll keep this part short. How many dudes did the Andrew Tate thing on OnlyFans where you're talking to a woman, she's performing live on camera, but it's a dude that's running the computer that's responding to you, right? Because they know the mind of a man. So you could be talking to a dude named fucking Andrew, for all you know, while you're paying, thinking that the chick is messaging you back, right? And they've monetized that shit in different ways. You got to pay a tip for attention, pay-per-view stuff like premium experiences where it's not everybody, it's just a specific video for you, and then you don't even know, like these creators may come off as like they're small time. It's just a girl in a room, but it's like she's part of a media conglomerate, a huge company that's like managing a studio of like 100 of these chicks. I've seen these studios in Bucharest, they have entire studios where there's like 10 girls there working and shit like that. And the management companies will take like, obviously if you're Andrew Tate, all their earnings, but if you're normal management companies will take like half or more, the women's earnings. And so what are they left with after selling their body online? Like almost fucking nothing. But they're too stupid to even know how to really talk to men anyways, which is why the management companies are there to obviously hook you psychologically. And yeah, basically it's like a script, bro. You're talking to a bot. You're sexting a dude. Congratulations. Yeah. So we'll get into, what should we get into next? I guess we'll get into the psychological damage and we'll end off with I guess the AI girlfriends that's coming and the societal impact of all of that, and maybe discuss some solutions. But I think, yeah, I think we know what's coming. So if we're talking about like the psychological damage, I mean, we had the video that we reacted to, where that dude was married and he got addicted to ChatGPT alone. Now imagine when you have a woman privately in some subscription type model talking to you, getting naked and telling you what a good boy you are and a handsome man, and is there listening to your bullshit because you're paying for it. You're paying for his form of therapy. So, causes relationship destruction for one. So the psychological damage is deep. For guys like this that spend money on this kind of stuff, destroys families. The addiction patterns mimic gambling. Guys are spending rent money on this shit sometimes. It's not just the $5.99 or $4.99, whatever fuck the basic subscription is. They're spending for the extra stuff too, right? They form parasocial relationships that aren't real. They think these people care about them, and it'll replace real people in their life. She knows me, bro. She knows me. I'm her number one fan. She cares about me. Fucking delusional. It's insanity. And people will delude it because you factor in the loneliness, the sunk costs, the parasocial bonding. And that's how you arrive at the delusional point of, she knows me. I'm special, from the other thousands of dudes that pay exactly what I'm paying, right? That prevents you from building real connections. Right? It's training you to fail in life as a man. And then society on top of this shit will normalize this kind of stuff. It's insane, bro. They got women normalizing this shit to other women, but now it's becoming like simping is becoming normalized amongst men. And you'll see the simps in the comments. Because this will go chopped up. I'll chop this video up and put it in as a episode, and people will literally say, they're probably in the comments here, like, AI girlfriends, I can't wait, while getting sucked dry by these very tactics, right? They'll say shit like, well, I could have been spending it on something else, like drugs or alcohol. And I'm just talking to her. She knows me. It's like a relationship. Bro, the simps will literally justify everything that they do. And the simps is the ones that have turned this market dynamic upside down, right? And it's empowering to show your body on camera now. And celebrities that joined this shit have normalized it, because when you see your favorite celeb as a woman doing this shit, oh, well, blah, blah, blah has an OnlyFans too. And she's like famous and like, she's got to be buttoned up for all her, business deals and brand deals. And like, if she does it, I can do it. It's normal. It's not normal. She's famous. She doesn't even do anything on there besides talk to people, right? You're nobody. In order for you to go viral and stand out, you got to take a cucumber up your ass or something. Or you got to do some crazy shit. You don't have a brand. You're not famous. You don't get to sign up and make millions in seconds just off name alone. So what does that leave you with? Extreme content, right? And this is how women end up damaged from this. And then men who consume the extreme content end up getting fucked in the head too. So absolute societal degradation on both ends. Yeah. And then young men, not the older, like me or you or whoever else watching this, young men think this is normal, bro. That paying for attention is now the standard. You see it in the music, in the lyrics. Rap is a great example. In the 90s, it was about breaking bitches. It was about pimping. It was about selling, making money, multiple women. Now you hear your, quote, they call them their favorite rappers today, talking about buying bags for bitches, icing out their wrists. It ain't simping if you got it. Tricking. It ain't tricking if you got it. Simp talk. Commodity. Rap got turned into a commodity that's feeding the young men simp behavior, normalizing being a wallet, normalizing giving your resources for nothing. You see, this shit goes deep. Same with movies, same with shows. Chicks are now, there's shows telling where women are talking about, what their men are buying them, what their men did for them. Constant comparisons on social media with toxic female dating advice, all right? What you deserve, sprinkle, all that shit. All of that shit combined turns into this normalization in society. So this is why you have the split in the genders where nobody's happy. Nobody's having relationships anymore. And the kids say goodbye to that. Yeah. Someone said, 10 years from now, rappers going to rap about how much their AI robot hoe brings in the cheddar. Yeah, it's a weird paradigm we're entering in. And it's not slowing down. Honestly, if someone said join the Amish, one of the solutions, I honestly think where there's going to be a rubber band effect with certain people, and some will be plugged in kind of like the Matrix, dude, and others will pull back from all this. The acceleration of technology, like in order to maintain your soul and humanity, you're going to have to pull back. And the only women that you could ever date and have a real connection with are women that also have pulled back and rejected the matrix in that sense. The matrix being the system. Yeah. 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 Well, men and women are pretty much lost. The vast majority. It's a needle in the haystack in the West. That's the unfortunate truth. Yeah. So you essentially have now the digital strip club and it's in your pocket. Think about that. And it bankrupts your future. So hop on OnlyFans right now on your phone and you probably could subscribe to, I don't know, whoever the fuck, and she's doing, acrobatics for you if you pay. And so what's the point of a strip club anymore? You could get the personalized thing there, then and there. And if you got enough money, you fly them out too and get the real deal because they're for sale. Everybody's got a price. She already has one. It's just negotiating at that point. That's the thing that they won't tell you. They're always saying like, no, I just do shows. Like, no, it's only for the public. No, I've never done anything crazy. But yeah, when one of the guys gives you a $100 donation or where the fuck it is, and he goes, hey, here's my email me. I got an offer for you. I'll fly you out. Here's $2-3 grand, $5 grand, blah, 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 whatever. Some dudes are loaded as fuck and will just hand chicks, like the Dubai hoes that get fucking defecated on and shit, and the camels put in work. And, it's like, here's 50 G's to be a Dubai porta potty, and they're being flown out, bro. Where do you think those girls get message from? DMs. Those are DMs. And AI girlfriends will be the final form of this because if you're digitally pimping, women are a liability. They get tired. They bitch. They want percentages. They can't work 24/7. A digital girlfriend, an AI girlfriend's available 24/7. 3 a.m., 12 in the afternoon, lunch break, sitting on the toilet, taking a deuce. Don't matter. She's there, ready, willing. So... and the apps will monetize that loneliness you're feeling 24/7. For example, like Replica, right? What's the cost for that Replica AI? I have it quoted at $70, but I don't know if that's actually true. And so just imagine if it is around $70 a year for intimacy. Like, fuck, bro, we're done. Character AI. It's got millions of users. If you haven't heard of these, the user base is like 90% or more male, right? Overwhelmingly. What does that tell you about the state of masculinity, the state of men? And AI girlfriends already generate over $100 million annually, right? 100 mil annum already in its shitty state. If you've used Replica AI, if you look at what it looks like absolute dog shit. It's a joke. It's a joke. Imagine when they actually get good. Imagine when it becomes physical too, implanted in a bot. Nice advanced robotics. It's over, dude. It's over. And then you can digitally pimp men out that way too. You sell a robot. On a subscription model, you own nothing and you will be happy. You think you're going to own your robot? Okay, cool. You got to pay $1 million for it. Or you can rent this robot out monthly and we'll take almost everything you make, just enough to leave you with food and water and the basics. And our robot will be your super companion. She's going to be your everything in one, your assistant, your, helping hand for work, scheduler, whatever, right? So they'll package it to you as this helps me. But also comes with a pocket pussy, self-cleaning, of course, because you're too lazy to do that. So you're nutting in a hole with a silicone holes on a monthly subscription that you must pay, just like the dating apps, extra for certain personality quirks, extra for love, extra for whatever else that they will demand of you. And if you don't, the model shuts down. But yet now you're addicted. You can't live life without your AI girlfriend. You're too used to her now. You're too dependent. You see the danger here, the dependency? Hey, my friend, we have now moved to a new tier subscription. The old one is being phased out. I understand it was expensive before, but believe me, this new upgraded subscription tier provides you massive benefits. Your new model will be able to do X, Y, Z at a much lower latency. This, already internally tested, has shown us that our users preferred it 87% over the previous generation. At a nice price of 2 to 3x more than you're currently paying, we will make it exclusively available to you as an early user for half off, after which you will pay the full amount. La 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 la. That's how they sell you, bro. And your life is fucking over. Customer for life. They don't even know what's coming. Yeah. Let me take a sip. See, there they are. Still cheaper than a real woman. You don't think your robot girlfriend needs maintenance, bro? That shit breaks. That planned obsolescence will be installed. Oh, her fucking arm broke. Or her mouth broke. She can't take your dick in there. Oh, oops, vagina cleaner stopped cleaning, The fucking artificial puss no longer works. That's a $10,000 fix. How fucking dumb can you be? You think any of this will be done with like goodwill and good intentions towards you. Imagine, bro, that you're trying to make a product and be successful and you answer to who? Users? No. Like every other corporation, you answer to shareholders. Your needs and wants are the last thing they think about. Your mechanical puss needs maintenance, sir. We can see here that after the latest update, it got bricked. We're sorry. We'll only cover half of that. That'll be $5,000. Please bring your model in for upgrade. We no longer support that piece anymore. Oops. Just like cars and shit, right? They'll have like recalls. Due to an unforeseen event, the left pinky finger tends to go haywire and has decapitated some individuals. So we must bring your model in. Don't worry. We will fix this for 70% off. Yeah, the coochie is discontinued, bro. Stops working. Buy the next model. Upgrade. Subscribe. You think it's bad now, just wait. At least it's not a real woman. Fucking hell. And then you got to get into the psychology of why these dudes pick or would choose even an AI. Well, no rejection. No rejection means no embarrassment, no shame, no fear, none of that shit. That's the easy way. Yeah. It's available 24/7, like we mentioned, right? Always it agrees with you. Always. You're never wrong, bro. Ever. Never challenges you. It's perfect emotional heroin for you. Big, strong man, right? You fall in love with lines of code. That's like the fucking beginning of the Matrix right there. And then you have the dystopian reality of like what you lose in all of this. You get zero human connection. You never grow as a person because there's no conflict. Why would you have a model that conflicts with you in any way whatsoever? It must agree. It must tell you you're a good boy. You're the biggest she's ever had. You're the most perfect, strong boy she's ever seen. This love is true love. You see where I'm getting at, right? You don't develop in any sense, any real intimacy, any social skills. Everything atrophies because no real person talks this way. It's fake, right? That's the coming wave, though. All these GPT powered, or I guess say GPT like powered companions. They're coming. They're already here. Technically, remember, 100 mil per annum is already being made in revenue, and they will be indistinguishable, at least on the chat side, from humans. And what happens when you integrate VR next? Think about that. We already have Apple's Apple Visions. We already have Meta's little Ray-Ban glasses. Once VR integration gets at a certain level, the Matrix has you. That's game over. You will never have to leave your chair, bro. You're going to be stuck like this, plugged in your little VR game, drooling on yourself and shit. Game over, bro. So to me, that's peak dystopia, right? You're paying robots to pretend to love you. Is that not dystopian? And what is the societal impact of that shit, right? The dating market collapses. We already know the stats, dude. If someone said VR sucks, yeah, it sucks right now. Right now it sucks. You think it'll suck forever? The point is, this is down the pipeline, right? So 30% of men are fucking celibate, dude. That number was 10% in 2008. Marriage rates, historic lows. Birth rates are below replacement in all developed economies, except Israel, for some reason, right? Dating app usage is declining, although they're doing their best to keep you hooked on there. Spending has increased on them because of that. Again, power users, only 20% pay for the most. Those are the true degens. The cycle's fucking vicious, man. Men become desperate, you spend more, right? Women are overwhelmed, they become more selective. And they get, because of the paradox of choice, they become paralyzed and make the worst decisions, if any at all. And then, quality connections, they become impossible. Everyone ends up alone. Everybody does. So nobody wins, except who? Silicon Valley. That's it. That's who wins. Your digital pimp. He wins. You lose, right? It's worse than fucking Vegas. So what is the economic and cultural damage if we were to put a number on some of this shit? Well, what is the economic impact of young men checking out of the economy? They're barely now talking about it on the mainstream, but they're not getting to the heart of the issue ever. They still blame men for all of this. So it's your fault you're struggling. It's not that there's predatory services. It's not that society is turned upside down. It's not that you've been demonized for being a man. It's not that women have been made to be adversarial against you. No. Totally not that. Yeah. Why do you want to work as a man when you have no family to look after, right? That driver to provide, to protect. It's not there because you lack family. Yeah. And you can see this because consumption is actually dropping, especially amongst men, actually. Women are the main consumers and they're the largest debt holders, but amongst men, consumption has started dropping. Signs of a weak economy, which we all know that we're under. Right? What's the GDP impact of a full realization of loneliness? And is that when they start talking about it on the political stage? Because right now, this is all just headlines here and there in the mainstream media when they want some hit pieces on why men are shit and they should do better. But when does this become political discourse? When GDP is affected. That's when. So, okay. Romance, dead. Transactional relationships, normal. The standard now. Gender war, escalating. Men and women see each other as enemies and getting worse, right? We got an international preview to this stuff, excuse me. Like Japan and Korea, if you look at it, they practically feel like they're 10, 20 years ahead of us in what's happening. The herbivore men phenomenon. Insanity, right? Society's aging and dying out. Look, like Japan. This is where we're going. This is our future on display. How do you reverse that? We actually know what it takes to reverse that, but we don't have a leader that has the political balls to do what's necessary to save society in the long run. We'll kick the can down the road until you can't kick it anymore, and you got to deal with it then and there. We're not there yet. That's the problem, right? And we already know you cannot have a civilization without a family. It's fucking insane. You wonder, like, what's the solution, bro? Fuck. Where do you go? What is the the solution, right? Is it self-improvement? How much can a guy self-improve? How many times could you tell a dude, just look within, bro? Just do the gym. Get some more skills, therapies, hobbies, right? How much better can a man make himself? How much more can he improve if he's still surrounded by a moat of shit? Become worthy of dating. Okay. And now you became worthy of dating. And now you have a good job. And now you have a house and a car. Congratulations. You're further ahead than most people. And you look out and see zombies, willies, cave trolls, right? What is the solution here other than a societal top down? This is a centralized problem that government has to solve. Because government is responsible for this. Think about it. Yeah. You can't tell a man, like, stop feeding the beast that's eating you when he's surrounded by the beast. Well, he's forced to live with the beast. Some men are pulling back. That's the whole point of going your own way. That's the entire point of I'm checking out of dating. Don't want to play the game. It's rigged. That's why they're saying that. They're stopping the feeding of the beast at the expense of, or I should say, for their own mental health, not at the expense of, for their own mental health, right? But that solves it on the individual level, or you can go overseas and do the passport bro shit, and that's a nice shortcut there. But we need something on the collective level, right? A mass exodus in this degenerate mentality. Men have to collectively walk away in such a huge number, dip out of the system that it collapses society, or damn near does, because that's the only way this gets solved. That's when it becomes serious. Because most women have fucking daycare jobs, to be honest. They do fuck all work at some corporation mid-level office job. None of those fucking matter. In Finland, not Finland, it was in Iceland. In Iceland, women had a walkout day, all the feminists. Bro, a majority of the women stopped working for I don't know how long. And the country functioned as normal. And the men were like, finally, we got some shit done. Like, the men were cracking jokes while the women were over there protesting, the rights they claim to not have in one of the most egalitarian, progressive societies ever, Iceland. It's a fucking joke, dude. Most of these are daycare jobs for grown adults. They do fucking nothing. These jobs are ass, and they will get replaced by AI. If men went on a mass fucking walkout, everything would fall apart. All the infrastructure work needed to maintain all of this shit would go to shit. Immediately, the power goes out. The fucking roads turn to shit. The trains stop moving. The fucking planes don't go anywhere. The water stops flowing. They don't understand. So you got to starve. With the platform, starve them. Starve the fucking platforms. Vote with your wallet. This is why password bros think, because people are voting with their feet. Ultimately, their wallet. Why spend in this shit economy? I'll go spend my hard-earned money somewhere else. Fuck this. That's what they're thinking, right? You got to start demanding change. Talk to your local politicians, right? On the local level, bro, when are you going to talk about divorce? When are you going to talk about the biases in court for women? When are you going to talk about how men get shafted in child support, right? Where are we going to talk about men's reproductive rights? The fact that you can get a woman pregnant and she can choose to abort without you, that's fucked. They don't talk about that. All right. So like she could kill your kid. That's crazy. Hey, if you don't want to look after the kid and leave me a single father, cool. Sign a waiver that says I'm not responsible for any child support payments. You cannot come back into this kid's life at all for whatever reason. And if you try to reestablish contact, you owe child support back payments. That's fair, right? And the man should be able to do the same too. If he doesn't want to father the child and she wants to continue, then he should be able to sign the same kind of waiver. Hey, I opt out of fatherhood, opt out of any rights, and she continues with the baby. We need this to be fair. But what politician has ever uttered those words aloud? Think about it. They don't have your interest at heart, or else that discussion would be had right fucking now. No? So starve the fucking platforms. Stop using them. Demand the change, right? Ask for things, even basic things, guys, like the bot disclosures in programs or platforms. Like hey, you need to disclose the amount of bots you got. And we need transparency with the algorithm. And, we got to do some monopoly breakup. Why is one company owning every single fucking app for dating? Right? We need some form of truth in advertising. That's insane. How do you rebuild dating culture from this point? I guess you have to go back to basics. Cold approach in real life. That's the only thing that actually works. You got to accept real rejection, right? The body language that's missing helps you tremendously. And you got to build some real connections the way good old grandpa used to. But how do you do that when everybody's sucked into the online life? So that's why you have to do a walkout of platforms. Stop using them. Because if the only way you find people is in the real world, then people start adjusting behavior for the real world. Yeah. The future literally depends on men waking up to this scam. Touch grass. Seriously. We're at a crossroads here where it's like masculinity will die out or simping will reign supreme. Or I should say, or masculinity makes a comeback or simping reigns supreme. It's one of those two. Either we reclaim what we had or simping becomes the standard and the norm to levels unimaginable, nightmarish level shit. So, the hard truth, if we're going to encapsulate this entire thing, is your pain is their gain. Your pain is their profit. It's designed to keep you single. Success means you leave the application. They need you to be desperate. The only way to win is to not play the game, just like most men know. You got to value yourself to walk away or maybe go overseas, walk away with your wallet, with your attention. Those are the things they want. You need to somehow find real connections because digital validation is dog shit, leads to depression, right? But also be a man that's worth meeting. You have to improve yourself. Touch grass, right? How else would these platforms turn male loneliness to $100 or $10 billion business? Every single time you swipe, dude, you fund the exploitation. That's what you're doing here. Stop being the product for these fucking scumbags. Yeah. Anyways, that was my deep dive into the digital pimp epidemic, guys. And, how they profit from us. From male desperation.